Not gonna lie to you guys, I do feel like a bit of a retard. So yesterday, I uploaded a very angry video about me talking about The Crew 2. One day later, they then announced and released some stuff about PvP, which I'm actually quite happy about. There is a few things we should talk about with this. There's some good points and there is still some bad points. I kind of want to go ahead and talk about this. Had a different plan, a video plan for today. It's already ready and uploaded and stuff. But I want to talk about this because it's hot information. It's about the PvP update, which is coming to The Crew, and it's actually the first little piece of information we know about PvP in The Crew. Now, it's quite interesting. Shout out to my Discord, because in my Discord, I actually mentioned how releasing that trailer to begin with was the stupidest thing they could have done. What they should have done is released a under the hood article with all the information about PvP in. Little did I know, they actually did that exact same thing, just the opposite way around. So they released the trailer first, then the information about PvP. But nevertheless, I have my screen on the left, and then I also, you know, have you guys here. So we're going to go ahead and go through this article together, and we're going to kind of unveil everything we need to talk about, because there's a lot to talk about here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into this. So the first piece of really interesting information about this is that once you enter one of the HQs for PvP at rookie level, all of your cars will be maxed out, so you don't actually have to grind to get your car fully maxed out when you're racing in PvP. Now, this doesn't really bother me because, like I said, I've said this in videos before, I don't have all my cars fully maxed out. In fact, I actually listed this in one of my videos. So I've got all of the street racing cars maxed out, other than drag, I believe, rallycross maxed out, and I think maybe touring cars maxed out. Those are all the things I have maxed out. I don't have any of the boats maxed out, I don't have any of the planes maxed out. So hearing that piece of information for me is actually really, really nice. There's a lot of people getting angry though. There's a lot of people almost as angry as I was a few days ago, which in all honesty I can understand. If the only reason you've been playing The Crew 2 for the past few months is to make sure your cars are ahead of the game when PvP comes out, then I can understand your frustrations. But from my personal point of view, I didn't grind for those few months, so, you know, I can understand your frustration, but I don't really mind too much because I'm only benefiting from this. I think in the long term, everyone's going to benefit from this. All it does, in my opinion, is make PvP a level playing field. It's still going to be interesting to see how they handle car balance, because as far as I'm concerned, the Huracan is still OP, the MV Augusta is a bike which is OP, so it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out, because obviously you can balance everything in terms of, you know, like rank and stuff and upgrades, but it's one of those things, the cars are still OP, so you still have to buy the OP cars and stuff. That is the only thing which I'm kind of a bit confused on, but again, I'm sure that's something we're going to learn about more in the future. The next part of what I'm going to talk about is also really, really interesting. So they've basically separated the PvP system into two parts: street racing and then everything else. I'm not sure if I misread or just didn't see a party games option, but it seems like PvP is only racing. For me, this is a bit disappointing, obviously, because in the Crew 1 we had Crown and King and stuff, and, well, that's the same thing, but you know what I mean. I'm not sure if I've just misread it. I'm not sure if, you know, I'm being completely wrong and this is misinformation, but in this article itself, there's nothing to say that any party modes are in PvP. This is something for me which is really disappointing. I was honestly expecting more modes to come with this PvP mode. Obviously, not everything. The mode isn't out yet, so I could very well be wrong in saying that there's not going to be any dog fights and, you know, Crown and Tag and stuff aren't in the game, but as far as I'm concerned, from what they've said so far in this article, that is the case. I don't really mind that street racing is its own little thing, to be honest. It would have been nice if they just put cars by themselves, boats by themselves, and then planes by themselves instead, but again, it comes back to what I said in my video yesterday. There's not many people playing The Crew 2. A lot of people were smart to point out in the comments that I linked a Steam, a kind of player stat, and instead of a Uplay player stat, but there's still reasoning behind that. This is how many people were playing The Crew 2 when I checked last night. Not that many. This is how many people are playing Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2010. This game is also sold on Origin. You can see what my point is when I'm bringing up those stats. Yes, it's not Uplay, but if you keep in mind, in the last 24 hours, 301 people have played Hot Pursuit, almost a 10-year-old game, and this how many people have played it, like, it just makes complete sense of what I'm saying. So, I guess in that regard, they couldn't really segment the player base and have, like, each individual discipline, have each individual PvP thing, but that's not necessarily a problem for me. As long as street racing's there, that's fine. Again, I think it's just fine, though. I'm not going to sit here and say this is leaps and bounds better than other games like Horizon and their PvP systems, because it's not. You know, it's very good, and I think I liked what the direction they're going in. But, you know, in terms of being a robust mode, yes, it has everything at base level, but it doesn't really have much substance from what I've seen so far, you know, beyond that. One thing, and I think, honestly, out of everything they've mentioned, I think this is going to be the just saving grace for this update, and that is, and I can't believe I'm saying this, ranked PvP. It's returning, and it's returning exactly how it was in the last game. And I think, honestly, I know it's returning from the last game, and I know it's not a step up from what I was expecting, but it's still the league system which wasn't broken, so don't fix it. Bronze, silver, gold, platinum, you race to become the best, and it's literally that simple. Why this wasn't there on launch, I have absolutely no clue, but I'm so happy it's coming in the form of which it's coming now. And I think for me, this is going to be something which I will probably come back for a little bit to see what it's like. The only reason now I think my opinion's changed about me coming back to test this update is because all the cars are fully upgraded. I wasn't expecting them to do that. I thought it was going to be one of those things where they were going to keep it so the cars that you have in multiplayer or in the open world are the cars you're going to be using with the upgrades, not, you know, upgrading everyone's cars. That is a game changer for me. I can understand why people would get annoyed, and to be honest, I get it. Like, it is going to add less longevity to the PvP because people aren't going to be trying to grind out and max cars, and obviously everyone's going to go in with an equal playing field. But at the same time, if you really want to get competitive, then that's not necessarily a bad thing, because everyone is going to be on the same playing field, so it is genuine, like, actual kind of skill involved. It's no luck based, like factors involved in this. So I don't really mind in that way. It'd also be a good way for you to upgrade cars, because obviously if everyone's on the same level and it's only skill based, your cars are going to be upgraded. So when you go into the open world, you're going to have a lot more upgrades on those cars anyway. If you can see where I'm going, I'm interested to see where this goes. I'm cautiously optimistic. I will be playing this update. It's definitely got my hopes up from yesterday when they released that trailer, and I was just angry. I'm going to have to see what this is like when it comes out. Very, very interesting though. Something which I am looking forward to, and at the very least, you know, will be on the back burner to Horizon, if not playing, you know, with Horizon. It's interesting to see what they've done here, and I'm very, very intrigued to see how this works. One question I do have, which isn't actually, like, in this article, is tuning going to play a factor in cars, or is everyone genuinely going to have, like, just a stock Huracan? Because if tuning is a factor, that could be a huge thing for the game. That could be a huge thing that could make the game last, and that genuinely reminds me of Need for Speed 2015 Speedless, and I don't need to go any further talking about that, because if you follow the channel for a very long time, you know exactly what that means to the channel, and me generally. So that's all I have to say about the Crew 2. I promise this is like the last video until PvP is out, unless they announce more information. I'm very excited to see what this is like. Let's bring on December the 5th when it comes out. I can't speak. I'll see you guys in the next one. You guys have been awesome. Stay safe and peace.